Adrian, talk us through that one. Massive congratulations.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was a challenging game, probably not our best, but we were really resilient and defended really well. And even though we gave up a lot of shots to Western, I didn't feel like any of them were really big chances. So I feel like we defended well. We were great from set pieces. And we probably could have had a couple of goals in the first half, to be fair, which might have changed the game a bit. So sometimes you just got to find a way, and we were able to do that again.
Yeah, your defenders were absolutely spectacular. How proud are you of them? Yeah,
very proud, especially because only a second start for us, Tiana Karambassis. So Zoe Tolan was a big out, and Tiana got through as much of the game as she could, then just started to sort of cramp up a little bit because she hasn't played 90 minutes for us yet this year. So it was a big ask for her to come in for a final. And then we know how good Claudia and Matilda and Ella have been all year. And, you know, especially Matilda and Ella, I think the national team selectors should take some note because they're fantastic players and, you know, they deserve an opportunity at some point, I think.
How long do you kind of celebrate this one before you start to look at the challenge that is Melbourne Victory next weekend?
I'll celebrate this one pretty hard for the rest of this week and then turn my attention to Melbourne Victory tomorrow.
Now, Western United came out in that second half and really sort of shut down a lot of your transitional moments in attack. The ball in behind wasn't working as much.
Yep.
You know, how did you sort of weather that storm, I suppose, because there were a couple of points in that second half where it looked quite nervy.
Yep.
You know, what were the words you were given from the sideline to keep the girls focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, I think it was more just about our decision making and our execution was a little bit off. So we've got certain plans in place for how we want to play, depending on you know, where the opposition is trying to press or drop off and sit in a block. So the players know what needs to happen. We just probably let ourselves down a little bit with our decision making and execution at times. And maybe that's a little bit nerves, maybe it's a little bit because of what was at stake, our first finals win. Could have even just been the fact that, you know, like we've known for a while that this game was coming. And so, you know, that can be challenging to prepare that way. But like I said, the team just keeps finding ways to win. I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but we've only lost, you know, 2 games in the last, you know, 3 or 4 months. So I think that says a lot about our team, and we just found a different way to win today, which was still nice.
Well, you mentioned before, you know, maybe not at your best today, but still got that win. Is that something you can take confidence in, knowing that, hang on, we weren't 100%, we perhaps made mistakes here and there where we shouldn't have, but we still came away with the result? Is that something moving forwards you can go, hang on, there's something special brewing here, and if we're firing on all cylinders, there's nobody that can stop us?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. You hit the nail on the head there. And look, we've still got players that we're trying to reintegrate back in that aren't quite at 90 minutes yet. You know, if I think about Erin Healy and Chelsea Dorber, that two that sort of jump off the page. It's still a bit of a balancing act. We've just, you know, picked up a couple of injuries at difficult times throughout the year, but it's been like that since round 1, to be honest. So we've got full confidence in whoever we call upon in the squad to stand up and do a job. And, you know, we made 2 changes to the starting lineup for today, and just really happy with how everyone played and performed. So we'll reassess and see where everyone's at, and we'll come up with a plan and, you know, a squad that we think can really take it to victory next week.
And a significant turnaround from last season as well, obviously, considering how that one ended. But, you know, there's a core group of players that stuck around. Obviously, you're still here. Is it sort of vindication, perhaps, being able to get this historic first finals win going, we've done a good job here? You know, obviously the task isn't finished yet, but do you have that feeling inside of you going, I'm glad that, you know, we were able to stick together, work through that tough period last season, and now we're back on top again? Yeah, absolutely it is. Last year was really difficult, and we were hurting a lot as a result of the way that played out. So the fact that so many people chose to stick around, I think, speaks really highly of the culture that we have here at the club and within the team. And then for us to perform the way that we have this year, it just highlights that sometimes you just got to get some of those minor things right. You know, it's a game of fine margins. We've recruited well. We've improved off-field as well as on the field too, and we feel like we're really well positioned to give this, you know, final series a real crack. And the crowd tonight as well was fantastic. Great atmosphere, just over 3,000 here at Cooper's. You know, was that a big lift as well for the girls going, we've got all this great support around us, you know, let's make sure we get the job done?
Yeah, absolutely. We would have liked to have given them a little bit more to cheer about. At times they were probably on the edge of their seat and a little bit quiet and a little bit nervous. But we definitely felt their presence early, and we definitely felt, you know, the noise that they made when we felt like we needed a lift as well. So my challenge to the supporters of the club is, can we get double that next week? We'd love to see a really, really big crowd up against Victory, because they certainly make a difference for us.
In the lead up to this game as well, obviously had the 100 with Dylan last week and Isabel tonight. How special was that to have it to coincide with such an incredible moment and historic moment for the women's side here at Adelaide United?
Well, it's probably a question for Izzy because you know, there's probably a lot of thoughts, feelings and emotions going through her mind. It's not often you get two milestones like that back to back, and then add on top of that an elimination final as well. So I'm super proud of both of those players. They're club legends. They stand and epitomise, you know, what our club is all about and lead from the front. And yeah, I'll be happy to go into a game without any distractions this week. So.
Well, next week a big one, home final against Victory. The crowd tonight was good, 3,000. I noticed a lot of local WNPL players and juniors in the crowd. What's your message to the ones to come out next week to get them and come down and support the girls in a very big match next week?
Yeah, we'd obviously just love to see as many people out as we possibly can. It was great to see that, like you said, that whole range of ages out. Lots of local players, lots of juniors. It's really a team that they can get behind, and our club is, you know, known for providing a pathway for local talent. So hopefully that inspires them to stick with the game and to take it as far as they possibly can. And if they can each bring a friend and we can double the crowd, that'll be great as well.
I suppose just a last one from me. You heard I guess the roar of the crowd, but also the bench sort of flew off their seats when the full-time whistle blew. And you've spoken about that team culture this year compared to last year. The video came out during today. I guess, how has it been to observe and see that flourish, especially this year in what has been technically your best ever season here?
Yeah, I didn't know that video was coming out today. Actually, I didn't know it was being filmed. I thought the video was on Izzy. So, yeah, I think they captured up the sense of the meeting well, and that's really what it's about. We've just been team first culture and mentality all year. We've made changes from week to week. Sometimes players have played, sometimes they haven't, but they just get around each other and support each other so well, and it's just the next person up. So it doesn't matter who's playing, who's not, who gets selected, who doesn't. We feel like we can pick a team each week that'll be super competitive and give ourselves a chance to win. And we know there's some players that'll be disappointed that they didn't get selected today, but being in and around the change rooms before the game, you wouldn't have noticed that because they were right behind their teammates. And I think it just speaks volumes of the kind of characters that we have in our dressing room.
I suppose just a last one on you. Trying to make you talk about yourself here, but the work you've done, especially this year, being a full-time coach as well, looking against last year, has it just felt the best sort of just to see this side improve? Yeah,
obviously you do put in a lot of work, and I've just got to shout out to my staff actually, because a lot of them aren't full-time, a lot of them have other jobs or work across multiple programs. And the effort and energy that they bring each week and they put into their roles is first class. It's outstanding. So along with the playing group recruitment, I think we've got a couple of really key staff recruits right this year, and they've made a big difference. And I've just got to take my hat off to them because I see what they do on a daily basis. It's fine for me because that's my job, and I am full-time, like you said. So I really appreciate all the work that my staff do, and I'm also super grateful to the club for giving me another opportunity to show what we could do, and sticking by a number of players in the playing group as well who have been through some good times and some tough times here in Adelaide. So I feel like we're really well positioned to have some sustained success as well, not just this year but beyond. And we'll try and keep as much of the group together as possible because they're fantastic.